Hi, I am Dr. Bree, and I'm a physical therapist specializing in pelvic floor health. Today, we're going to be doing a workout that has some of my favorite moves for bladder health. Great for prolapse and bladder leaks and even discomfort. But first, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell to get notifications so that you never miss a new video. All right, once you've done that, let's go ahead and get right to the workout. So for this workout, all you'll need is a yoga mat and maybe a blanket or padding, something for under your knees might be needed. All right, the first move, actually, you know what? This is really important for me to say. These moves are wonderful for strengthening and toning the pelvic floor muscles and also releasing them too. We're going to be doing both strength work and release work. Very helpful for prolapse, pelvic shift of the bladder. So it's also called cystocele. It is also helpful for bladder leaks, urgency, frequency, things like that. It can be helpful for people who have pain in the bladder and pelvic area. However, for all of these things that I just mentioned, especially for pain, it's really important that you get medical clearance first to be sure that there's not some type of bladder infection that you have going on or something that needs to be medically treated, okay? So with that out of the way, if you feel confident that we can proceed, let's get to it. So we are going to begin actually standing up with a little mini squat. So this is not like a crazy deep squat. It's really, really tiny, just a couple of inches. What I want to show you from this side is what this will look like. So you're going to squat down, sit back just a few inches, hinging at your hips. Your hips are right here, and sitting your butt back. So be sure that you're not over your toes like this, and also be sure that you're not rounding your back and butt and tucking your bum under. So you want to sit back and then come up. Now, there's a few keys here. Keep practicing that. You're sitting back and then coming up. Feet are spread out nice and wide. Toes are pointed forward, maybe a little bit turned out, but not much. Basically forward, sitting back and coming up. Exhale as you come up to stand. Keep practicing. And I want to show you the muscles that we're working. So when you're doing this squat, we're working our pelvic floor muscles. The pelvic floor muscles you can see from the inside right here. And if you're looking up at the pelvic floor, you can see them in a different angle right here. Now, I want you to notice the sitting bones, your butt bones here and here. Notice how the muscles span between the sitting bones. The pelvic floor muscles span between the sitting bones, the pubic bone in the front, the tailbone on the back, and then there's a deeper layer as well. There's lots going on in the pelvic floor. So it's not just one muscle, there's lots of muscles that we're working, but the sitting bones can give you a really nice reference point for this exercise. So I want you to feel your sitting bones releasing apart as you squat back. There's length in the pelvic floor, and then as you stand, you should feel almost like a lift, like a Kegel exercise, a squeeze and lift of your pelvic floor muscles as you come up to stand. So a couple more times, sitting back, and then exhale. Feel the lift of your pelvic floor like a little Kegel, and exhale, you'll feel a gentle drawing in of your abdominals as well. Last time. All right, nice job. So for this next one, you might want padding for under your knees. We're going to do a little hover. So one thing that's important to mention before we do this, which is very similar to the squat, is that the reason that the squat is safe for your pelvic floor, even if you have bladder prolapse, is because you're not tucking your bum under. Now, if you were tucking your bum under that whole time, that would cause a lot of downward pressure on your pelvic floor and your bladder area. So we really want to think about alignment for that first squat exercise and for this one. So for this move, your knees are apart and your feet are close together. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit back, hinging at your hips. Again, alignment. If you go like this and kind of crunch down through your low back, you're rounded through your low back and your butt's tucked under and you're hunchy here, that causes a lot of downward pressure on your pelvic floor and your bladder, and that's going to irritate your bladder, it's going to cause discomfort and too much pressure down. So I want you to hinge at your hips, release your bum, and hover back. Whew, it's a lot of work. And come up. Now, what I want you to notice is this position of slight external rotation at your hips naturally activates your pelvic floor. So that we're doing a lot of work in this move just by hovering down, hinging at your hips, and then coming up. One more time, that's all. So come down, hover, hinging at your hips, and then come on up. Okay, now before we're completely done with this move, we're gonna stay nice and high, and I just want you to tuck and untuck your bum. So little pulses. You're gonna feel this in your thighs and your pelvic muscles, your pelvic floor, your abdominals. Everything is feeling this. So really, let's go slow and controlled, but let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, nice job. Come onto your hands and knees next. So we're gonna move into, actually I'll come this way. We're gonna move into a cat and cow pose. Cat and cow has been shown to be extremely effective at activating and releasing the pelvic floor. In fact, it's been shown to be more effective than Kegels as far as pelvic floor activation, which I will show you now. So first we're gonna release the pelvic floor by going into cow pose. Next, we're going to tuck the bum. This is one time where you can tuck the bum. It's not horrible to tuck the bum under. We just don't want to do it all day long. But for this type of exercise where you're flowing between cow pose and cat pose, you're getting a release of the pelvic floor, release of the sitting bones apart, and then an activation of the pelvic floor. So it's like you're doing a Kegel, squeezing and lifting your pelvic floor, pulling your belly button toward your spine, and exhaling. Inhale, cow pose, release, and then exhale. Lifting the pelvic floor, pulling belly button to spine, breathing your air out. Again, inhale, cow pose, and exhale, cat pose. Let's do 2 more just to really make sure we get this. So, cow pose, releasing the sitting bones apart, and then cat pose, lifting the pelvic floor like a Kegel, pulling the belly button toward the spine, exhaling all your air out, and last round. And exhale. Now, we're going to find the space right in between both extremes. So you're not in cow and you're not in cat. You're in a nice tabletop back position. Back is flat like a tabletop. In this position, I want you to inhale, relax your belly. So breathe into your belly, breathe into your ribs. Exhale all your air out and pull that belly button toward your spine. We're going to feel the core connection right here. So pull that belly button toward your spine as you exhale. You're going to feel the connection between your pelvic floor, your deep abs. Everything is connected and turned on. Now, keep it turned on and active, and you're next going to inhale into your chest. So breathing up high, inhale into your chest, and then exhale, lift and feel that core connection even more. As you do this, do not round and tuck your back. Keep your back flat like a tabletop, lifting, feeling that core connection. One more time, breathe into your chest, and then exhale, feel that core connection even more. It's a lot of work. And then release. Let everything go. And maybe even sit back onto your knees and just release out your wrists. So that particular exercise, we're going to do it one more time, is a great way to feel that connection between your entire core, your pelvic floor, your ab and back corset muscles, your breathing diaphragm. It all works together. So while you're doing this, you're also really managing the pressure in your abdominal area. There's never this like bearing down or pressure feeling. You're feeling like a lift on all of your organs. It should feel really good. So let's do it again. And this time, if you want to add a very optional hover at the end, you can. So I'll show you how to do that. But first, inhale into your belly, into your ribs, just expansively inhale. Now exhale and lift your belly button toward your spine. Also feel your pelvic floor activate. So it's like a lift of the pelvic floor and a pulling in of your low abs. That deep core is connected and turned on. Now breathe into your chest rather than your belly, so a little bit higher than normal. And then exhale, feel that core connection even more. Pull everything in and up. Your pelvic floor is active. Your low abs are active. Breathe into your chest again. And then exhale, Core connect even more. You should feel so strong through here. Now, if you want to keep that core connection, inhale again into your chest, exhale again, and lift the knees up off the ground just an inch or two, not much, and then set them down. Okay, great job. Release. Now, the key to that move is that you're keeping your back flat like a tabletop the whole time. You're not rounding and you're not super, super arching, okay? Flat like a tabletop. Roll out the wrists. And after all of that, let's go into bridge. This is a wonderful exercise for pelvic floor strength. So come down through your side onto your back. We've been doing a lot of activations, so don't worry, we will be releasing soon. So bring your knees under your feet under your knees. Inhale. And then exhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time so that your hips are lifted high up off the ground. Now, a bridge has been shown to be more effective at activating the pelvic floor than a Kegel exercise when done correctly. And part of the reason why is you're also activating your glutes, your inner thigh muscles. They should be turned on too, so that your knees aren't like this. You want to be turned on through the whole center line of the body. I also love bridge because if you have prolapse, any position like this is going to help reorganize and reposition your pelvic organs in a really great position so they're not feeling so low. Gravity is helping pull everything back into place. All right, let's roll down one vertebrae at a time. And relax, let it go. Now, I want you to stay till the very end of this workout. So even if you're getting tired, please keep going with me and stay till the end because our most important move is actually coming up at the very, very end. Let's do one more bridge. So after you've released, taking a moment to just breathe, maybe even push pause on this video if you have pelvic tension or pain. Push pause and take a longer rest break. But if you're ready, let's do one more bridge. So feet are under your knees. Inhale. Exhale, roll yourself up, 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 up. Hold it nice and high. You're active through the center line of your body. Everything is turned on and strong. Let's hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've got it. And then roll down one vertebrae at a time. Nice job. Okay, let those legs flop apart and just even roll to the side. I love to call this opening and closing like a book. So you're opening up your legs and then setting them together. This is a great little low back massage, and it's very releasing for the pelvic floor. So remember, if you have any type of pelvic tension or pain, then you might need to take longer. If you have bladder irritation and you feel that that's contributing to pelvic floor tension, which it often does, then pause the video and maybe just relax, take a breather, and then come back to the workout, which we're going to continue in just a moment. But before we get to the next strengthening move, I want you to bring your right knee up toward your right armpit. So the left leg can either be flopped out to the side like this, or it can be straight, but I want you to bring that right knee toward the right armpit. So find a position that feels really comfy. You can hold on under your thigh or around your shin, whatever you like. Just breathe and relax into your pelvic bowl. So feel like your pelvic muscles, all of the muscles in your pelvic floor area, the muscles around your anus, the muscles around your urethra, all of these muscles are relaxed. Often one reason we can have bladder urgency and frequency is because these muscles are quite tense. And so we want to just relax, give these muscles a break so they don't always have to be so turned on and active. Breathing into the pelvic bowl. And then we'll switch sides. So same exact thing, other side. Very slowly move. Sometimes when you feel like you are supposed to move really fast, slow it down. I invite you to go as slow as you need to go to feel really relaxed and calm. So now the left knee goes toward the left armpit, holding on behind your thigh or around your shins. Whatever feels yummy to you. And this right leg can be straight, or it can be kind of flopped out to the side. See what you like. Breathing and relaxing these muscles. Because interestingly, weak muscles are often tight. So tight muscles don't necessarily mean strong muscles. Oftentimes the first step for strengthening in order to help with things like prolapse or bladder leakage is actually learning how to release and let the muscles relax. Because tight muscles are not strong. They're just tired. Tight muscles are tired. They're exhausted and they can't work right if they can't relax all the way. So take this time. It's actually one of the most important parts of strengthening is to learn how to relax. Okay. So now that we've had this nice rest and release break, it's really important that we do some more strengthening. So we're not quite done with the strength work. Let's go ahead and move into a move that seems harder. It looks easier than it is. It's actually quite hard. So this is the move. We're dropping the left leg out to the side and then bringing it back up. So the thing here, the key, is that you are engaged through the entire core team. So I want you to begin by gently activating your pelvic floor like a tiny little kegel. So a gentle squeeze and lift of the pelvic floor, drawing in and up. And then feel your low abs activate at the same time. They're a team. They work together. So your low abs are nice and turned on. It's almost like you're drawing your hip spikes together. Now, if your low ribs are kind of flared and popped open, draw them in. Your low back, it shouldn't be pressed into the ground like super duper pressed down like that, but it definitely should not be arched. Now, keep that entire core team strong and active and don't let your body tip side to side as you drop that left leg, the knee down, and bring it back up. I want you to notice how you should feel this in your inner thigh, your pelvic floor, your deep abdominals. Everything is like, ooh, feeling it. Everything is working together, and you are breathing. So exhaling with the work. And if you don't breathe, if you hold your breath, it causes this pressure management issue where you get this buildup of pressure, and that is really bad for your pelvic organs, for your pelvic floor. So breathe. Manage your intra-abdominal pressure. Let's just do 2 more. And notice this right leg should at least be pretty steady the whole time. It's just this left leg that's moving. Okay, finish it up. And, let it go. Let your knees kind of flop apart. Maybe draw your knees in and circle them around. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So, relax. Take a deep breath into your belly. Don't be contracted right now. And now we will activate. So, zip up your core is what I call this. Pelvic floor is active and lifted. You're gathering up your pelvic floor. Your low abs are turned on. Your lower ribs are dropped. If they were flared up, we don't want that. So knit together your ribs and your pelvis. Everything is neutral through your spine, and your right leg slowly drops down and lifts up. It's like a butterfly exercise, but you're only doing one side at a time. The slower you go, the harder it is. So actually go slow. Don't flop through this really fast or you won't get the benefit. So take your time. Feel that you're using those muscles as much as you can. And you are breathing. Do not hold your breath. If you ever feel your belly pooching up, or if you feel downward pressure in your pelvic floor area, you're doing something wrong, okay? So you need to reactivate your core. You need to make sure you're not holding your breath. You're breathing appropriately. And this should be hard. So if you feel like it's easy, to be honest with you, to be brutally honest, you're probably doing it wrong. So make sure that this feels hard. It should feel challenging. Maybe you're even shaking a little bit to keep your core steady as you drop, as you slowly lower and lift that right leg. Let's just do maybe 1 or 2 more. I'm terrible at counting. You might know that from me by now. But try to be even between your 2 sides. And now that you're here, don't release the core. Keep it strong, keep it active, and just straighten one leg and put it down. And straighten the other and put it down. You should feel your low abs turned on and strong. Do not let your low back arch. You want to keep everything neutral. Your low ribs are gently drawn in. You are just switching back and forth. This is working the pelvic floor, the abdominals. It's turning everything on as a team. One more on each side. And last one here. Oh, so good. Okay, lower one leg, lower the other. Big, long pencil stretch. Nice job. We are going to open and close like a book one more time. And if you happen to have a yoga block, that's wonderful for our last exercise, which is our releasing pose, another releasing pose. It's a resting pose. So you can be in supported bridge, otherwise known as hips up time. I like to call it hips up time in my lift program and my overcome pelvic pain program. If you have a yoga block, that's wonderful for hips up time. You can also do this with your legs up the wall. So you can just scooch your bum next to the wall and then put your legs up on the wall. That's a really rejuvenating posture, but I will show you hips up time. If you don't have a wall or you don't have a yoga block and you don't want to do any of these things, then you can also just lie down in Shavasana. But hips up time is my favorite. So you're going to put the yoga block or the pillow right under your sacrum, the back part of your pelvis. So it's not too high. It's right under your pelvis, the back part of your pelvis. In this position, gravity helps reorganize your pelvic organs, pull everything back into its rightful position, and it just really allows you to rest and relax in a restorative bridge. So I had mentioned that this is the most important exercise of all, and it feels like you're doing nothing, but don't skip it, because what I want you to do is really work on visualization in this position. So close your eyes. Maybe you can put your hands on your pelvis if you want to. If you think of your pubic bone area, just behind that is where your bladder lives. And I want you to think of your bladder and visualize a really beautiful, calm, healthy, and happy bladder with lots of rejuvenated energy and blood flow in that area. I want you to imagine your bladder just so calm, so relaxed, full of restorative blood flow and circulation to the tissues that surround it and to the muscle wall of the bladder itself. Just imagine that it is healthy. It's in a really great lifted position in your body, right where it's supposed to be. All of the supportive tissues are around it and they feel so strong. And I want you to bring some attention to the energetic and emotional sensations that are in the area. And interestingly, our bodies store emotion, they store things. And sometimes our bladder can store energy and emotion related to frustration or anger. Literally, it's like our bladder holds emotions of being pissed off. So is there anything in your life that needs to be forgiven? So if anything comes to mind, just bring that thing to mind. Maybe it's a person or a situation. Just bring that to mind and see if you can bring forgiveness to that situation. Because forgiveness is so important. It doesn't mean that you've forgotten. And it also doesn't mean that the person or the situation was right. But it means that you're no longer holding the resentment and the pain of that situation in your body. You're letting it go. You're no longer hurting yourself with the anger and frustration that you're holding on to. So again, forgiveness doesn't mean you've forgotten. It doesn't mean they were right. It doesn't mean it was right that it happened. It just means that you're not holding on to the pain anymore. So if anything comes to your mind that you can release and let go, please do that right now. And just send one more big wash of love and positive energy to that area of your bladder that internal part of your body where your bladder lives, and picture that beautiful, healthy, relaxed, calm, happy, and love-filled bladder. It might sound silly to do these types of relaxation and visualization techniques, but they can be so incredibly powerful. So one more deep breath. And then when you're ready, you're going to carefully come off of your block if you were in hips up time, and carefully press up to a seated position through your side. You never want to just jackknife up. You want to exhale and press yourself up to a seated position. So that workout is something you can do regularly to release the pelvic muscles and also gently strengthen the entire core team, which includes the pelvic floor. And of course, that visualization at the end is super powerful too. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who might need it. And if you want more ways to work with me, there are links and resources in the video description. So thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope this has served you. And until next time, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter. Bye.